hope you're having a great day and welcome to my YouTube channel. We're going to be making a beat in the MPC Live MKII. And I'm just very happy. I'm grateful. Let's jump right into it. I have my phone right here. I'm going to be sampling from my phone. I have this song right here that I was just listening to that really caught my attention. And let me go into my sampler and let's have a good time. All right, excuse me for the lack of an introduction. I just feel like you jump into the channel or you click on this video, you know what you're here for. I know why you're here, and let's get this thing started. Let's go on to manual chop mode and start slicing this up. Okay, right here we have this chopped up, and there's a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is that this thing sounds amazing already. The bad thing is that this record sounds amazing already. What am I gonna do to this? Like, this already sounds good, but am I just gonna loop that? I've ran into this so many times. Well, the cool thing is when you have vocals coming in, you could really have fun with vocals. You can play with those vocals and you can rearrange the sequence. And right now, like I said, there's already drums and it sounds really good as is. But with the vocals, I can take it a whole different direction and I can start getting creative with how she sounds. For an example, you guys already know we can go into our program editor and pitch this down 2 semitones. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. Now, if I just have the instrumental or the introduction where it's just drums and instruments, that's cool. And it already sounds good. But I'm telling you, once there's vocals in here, and it doesn't work all the time, depending on how, I don't know, how busy they are with their vocals, it could be a little too distracting. But usually, female vocals just sit very well while you're chopping those up. Like right here, I'm actually feeling this groove that I have right here. Like that sounds pretty cool right there. If I want, I can just start tapping out that tempo. Tap tempo is really, really important. How do I use tap tempo to tap out the BPM of this? I just play along with what I'm hitting on the pads, hitting tap tempo at the same time. And that gives me the BPM that I'm performing this in. About 83 beats per minute. Now I know I'm at 83 beats per minute. I don't have to worry about tempos anymore, and it's going to be matching really good. Let's go ahead and lay this down. That's dope. Now I can go to track 2, name this drums, create a new sample or drum program, call it drums. Let's go into our browser. I'm going into my sample pack volume 1. There's some really awesome sounds right here that I want to download. Ooh, that sounds nice. That sounds good too. Ooh, nice snare. Ooh, put some hi-hats, some open hats. All right, that's cool, but it's too fast. I want to lower or slow this down a little bit more. I'll go back to my sample and I'll go to my program editor, pitch this down at least 4 semitones. It's going to be a lot slower, but let's see how this sounds right here. Yeah. All right, I think I like this better. All right, I like that. That actually feels better. I'm gonna turn off quantize because I want these drums to feel a little loose right here. Oh, yeah. Nudge this over a little bit. That's nice. I got this open hat. I want it to get muted out by this kick, so I'm gonna put these in the same mute group. So this open hat right here, I'll put it in mute group 1, and this kick, I'll also put it in mute group 1 so they cut each other off. If not, they're gonna overlap each other. I don't want that. So if you want your percussions or your drums to mute each other, just put them in the same mute group. It's gonna feel better. Yo, that sounded nice. Now I'm going to go into track 3, and in track 3, let's make this our bass. Let's actually check out this new synth plugin, the Mini D. This thing it feels pretty cool. I want to listen to some bass notes right here. I'll start with this one right here, but I'm actually going to jump into my sample. I want to know what key this sample's in. It's in D minor, so I can go back to my bass synth. I have a video explaining this process on how I'm going to match the bass with the sample. Click the link somewhere right here. You guys can check that out if you guys want more information on that. So I already know that the sample's on D minor, and right here I can jump into my pad perform, and this is actually at A. I want to go into D, and let's make that minor. And it should be close enough. It should be matching pretty close. If it's still a little off, I can go back into the sample and pitch it up or down a few semitones or fine tune it a bit better. Oh, that's pretty close. Yeah, that actually sounds really good. But I'm gonna go into the Mini D and let's audition different sounds and see what we have right here. Now I'm going to pitch this up. I want to go in a higher octave because I want to hear the pitch of that bass or the melody of the bass. Once I lock in the melody that I want to record, then I'll pitch it back down a few octaves, or I'm sorry, I'll bring it back down a few octaves so I can have that bass sound. I'm trying to come up with a melody right here, and I'm actually editing a big chunk right here because I'm trying to connect with the melody of the bass to the sample, and nothing's really clicking. I'm trying to get all fancy and try to come up with a really cool melody, but then again, I always go back to the basics. I'm listening to the sample, and I want you to pay attention to the sample. The sample already has a bass line in the background. It's not that powerful. It's actually kind of weak, but I'm just digging up that bass line that's already in that sample, and I want to just follow along that bass line. If you notice, the bass line within the sample is so simple. It's just two notes being hit, going back and forth. That's it. And I'm over here trying to do a bunch of crazy fancy stuff to show off. I want to go ahead and just mimic what's going on already in the sample, how they're playing their bass. All right, now that sounds a lot better, and I feel that a lot better. Now I'm going to go back down to lower octaves, so it sounds like a bass. Ooh, yes. Much better. Now, sometimes you could get fancy and start doing something crazy, but most of the times when it comes down to bass, at least for hip hop, sample based production, I keep it so simple. All right, now this is just looping, very repetitive, but it's okay. Right now, we're gonna actually start doing some variation to this. This is just 2 bars. Let's go to the pencil icon and go from 2 bars. Let's double length that. Now it's 4 bars. I can jump back to my sample, and this is what I'm talking about. I've mentioned this before, but when I start a beat, I just go with my instincts. I try to lay down my main idea. Yes, it's repetitive, and yes, it's just the same melody going over and over. But once I have the foundation, I have a solid foundation of my drums, of the bass. Now I could go back to my sample, and right here I can recreate that sequence with my sample chops to something that's probably a lot easier to listen to. Let me go ahead and unplug this right here, and let's just check out this sample. As a matter of fact, I can just delete my whole entire performance. No matter what I do right now, as long as it's within the same song, in the same verse, it's gonna be in key with my bass. Oh, okay. Now, I mean, there's the vocal in that verse is what's gonna bring that to life, whatever you do with those chops. Oh, yeah. Now, even when it kind of goes back down at the beginning of the bar, I can go into my drums and let's get that down or that kick on the downbeat out. Yeah. Now, right here, actually go back to my sample. See, this is what I like about the MPC. I could build something, and it's so easy to use the grid editor to go back, take things off, copy, paste, duplicate. Like right now, this is awesome, but I don't like to switch up in bar 3. I think it just is a little too soon to introduce this switch up. So I'm gonna just copy what I have in bar 1. Oh, actually I cut it, but if I just copy what I have in bar 1, I go to the downbeat of bar 3 and I paste it right here. Now, this is gonna sound a lot better for me. Whew. Cool. Now I can jump back to my drums, and when it goes into the 4th bar, I'm actually gonna just loop the 4th bar to perfect that. Let's do some note repeat right here in the 4th bar. Actually, you know what? On this one, I'm gonna go into 16 level and let's go from tune into ratcheting. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Little switch ups like that make a big difference. All right, now that we have that, I'm able to take it from the top. And what I'll do actually at this point that I have my drums, my sample, and my bass, I'm gonna go into my master bus. I made a video on this. This is my previous video, check it out right here. But I'm gonna engage Air Flavor Pro. I actually have my master chain that's been sounding so good. Like I love the sound that I'm getting. I will introduce this texture, I guess, to my master chain at this point right now that I have like the foundation of my beat. And this is my cassette vinyl simulator that I've created, and I load that up. I'm gonna play 1 bar without it, and then I will engage this preset with Air Flavor Pro so you guys can hear the difference. Man, that actually sounds really nice. Now, on my previous video where I talk about Air Flavor Pro and how much I enjoy using it, one thing I forgot to mention, this is a must-have for people like us, just standalone 100% producers that do not go into the computer as much. I mean, I hardly go into my computer to do anything right there. If anything, maybe just a bit of limiting to certain beats, but for people like us that are 100% standalone, I think Air Flavor Pro is a 10 out of 10. Every beat's gonna sound different. Every sample that you chop up is gonna have different textures to it. And sometimes I don't want all that hiss or all that noise that I'm getting from Air Flavor Pro. I wanna dial it back down. Well, the good thing is that in Air Flavor Pro, you're able to go in here and dial back down the noise, the crackle, like, this is awesome to have the flexibility. Like I'm going very drastic, obviously, but I can bring down, go into my distortion and start tailoring my high pass and low pass with my distortion on how it's going to affect the current beat that I'm working on. Now, I do have my preset that I put together, and this preset is like my go-to preset, and I pop this open as soon as I'm, almost done with my beat, and it gives me a starting point. But most of the time, I will go in here and start adjusting these parameters to tailor the beat that I'm working on in the moment. So that's pretty much it right here, guys. I thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you had a good time with me. I definitely had an awesome time putting this together. This actually came out a lot better than I expected. Again, if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Peace, much love. I'll catch y'all on our next video.